Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 20th best sports podcast in the country. Currently, it's probably going to go up. We just want to thank you guys. There's been a great reception from the Alex King episode. It's made its rounds around Twitter and, a lot of important people are seeing it, but that's not the case if it's not for you guys. So we want to thank you. Special shout out to Joe K. I feel like your tweet really kicked it off, man, in the A-League Twitter world. So shout out to you, bro. I know you're watching. Big love on that episode, and that's what we want to do here, guys. We want to bring you behind the scenes and give you as raw and unfiltered as we can insight into the game, and that, you're not going to hear that. I'm cool. I'm cool. Today, I'm not saying the P word.
Just keep it raw, doggy.
You've said so many things that
I know.
Where it could have come out.
I know. I'm trying to test myself. Pre-season.
He's got the pause disease.
Yes.
Jerome's raw dogging pause.
Pretty much. No, I'm raw dogging the cold turkey of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Big shout out to everyone out there. And guys, while I got you right now, this is going to be the quickest thing you do in your whole entire day. On Spotify, click 5 stars. Also click follow. 2 seconds. Done. If you're watching on YouTube, on your laptop, subscribe. Like the video. If you're on your TV, guess what? You got a TV remote that can do that as well. So do it right now, or else we won't put out any more reps.
It's funny, I watch so many pods and I never do that stuff. But I've started, since doing ours, I realised the importance of it, and I've started doing it for other people as well.
First of all, I'm your host, Jarogba.
Oh, yes.
I think that's my name now. Because people are I found my nickname.
That's good.
To my left.
Lord Mahazi.
To my right.
New and improved nickname, CFO.
Yes.
Okay.
He's adopted, fully adopted.
Yeah, bro, you know why? Because the pods we listen to are so huge that we feel like our little like or our little follow is not going to do anything.
Yeah, I know. Even mate stuff. Like, I listen to it, I enjoy it, but I don't. For some reason, it doesn't click in my head. I need to actively support, repost, do this.
You think you're doing enough by just putting in your listen.
Our community need to understand that the more likes, the more subs, the bigger the guests, the better the pod. And we just keep growing from there.
That's exactly right, Gav.
From you guys, we can only get better with that, with your involvement.
And let us know, I guess, what type of football personalities you want to see. I mean, what we're trying to aim to do is actually knock off some roles that you don't hear about. So we got the ref. It could be a scout. It could be or whatever.
We had the kit man.
Yeah, we had the kit man. We've
President.
had media personalities, presidents. So we're trying to sort of cover every aspect of football so we give you a well-rounded view of the game. But I think we'll get straight into it because we've got some important calls to make. The Australia Cup is heating up.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Shout out to Melbourne, Serbia. We were at that game. We missed the penalty shootout, though, unfortunately. But shout out to them. Shout out to Heidelberg. I believe they beat Central Coast. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So there are a few A-League teams left, but one side of the bracket is dominated by NPL teams. So an NPL team will make the semi-final of the Australia Cup, which is huge.
And the Melbourne boys. Melbourne teams.
With the Melbourne teams, yes. You got Heidelberg, Hume, South Melbourne. You've got Oakley.
And do we reveal that? Yeah.
So, and that's what we always go about, Melbourne being the best league?
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Now, I'll say the bracket for you guys to tell everyone which clubs are left. So, MacArthur versus Newcastle Jets, Cannons versus Heidelberg, Hume City versus Melbourne Serbia, South Melbourne versus Olympic FC, and on the other side of the bracket, NWS Spirit versus Victory, Moreton City Excelsior versus Perth Glory, Olympic Kingsway versus Adelaide United, and Lions FC versus Western Sydney Wanderers. So, I know what I want the final to be. Hands down. The best final would be South Melbourne versus Victory.
Oh, my God. Is that possible?
That's possible.
Wow.
That would be.
Now, one of our listeners, shout out, I won't say who it is actually. I'll try to keep him anonymous, but shout out to you, bro. You know who you are. He said that 10 years ago or something, there was massive fan problems between the two. So if they meet again in the final, it could be a very tense affair. And they are rivals because South Melbourne was Victory before Victory.
But didn't also a lot of South Melbourne fans transition to becoming
did.
Victory? So then, who do they follow then in that game? Is the question.
Remember that question we got? Remember that question? He's like, can I support Victory and South Melbourne?
No.
And where would the final be played? Do we know this?
Amy Park, surely, if it's here.
Imagine at
Olympic.
no, what's it called? I always think of it Bob James, South Ground,
Oh,
Lakeside.
everyone says it's crap to watch because of the racetrack.
No, I went the
don't
other
like
day.
it.
It was great atmosphere. I liked it.
Bro, give me 20 to 15,000 at Amy Park, South versus Victory. I'll take it. I'll be there.
Amy Park's best stadium in Australia
Oh, it's for football. Yeah,
for football.
Yeah. I was at the MCG on the weekend. It is. If we had a rectangular stadium with that many that could be like that, hopefully in the future, then that will be something else because I hate watching football in round round
me too,
stadiums.
yeah.
So what we're going to do for you guys is this week, due to our incredible network of NPL and A-League players, we're going to call in an NPL player who's still left in the competition, and then we're also going to call in an A-League player. Guess what? They don't play for Victory, so how's that for you? So we're going to call in an A-League player and an NPL player, and we're going to ask them a few key questions about playing in the Australia Cup because it's different. Cup football's different. There's the magic of the Cup. You know, you got one chance and you're knocked out. It's very different. A-League players, they're playing on different pitches and all that. So, Gavin, take the wheel, son. Gavin's at the wheel. We are going to call Noel Bonada from South Melbourne, the smiling assassin.
Great celebration, by the way. Him headbutting the corner flag.
Hello, my good friend,
How are you?
the one and only Bonada.
Can you put it?
How are you, Russ?
Good. I'm going to put you on to the main player, the host, the number 6, Jerome Drogba. So he's going to ask you a few questions while we're live.
I'm scared.
Dale, Bonada!
Dale.
Bonada, what's up, man?
How are you, brother?
I'm good, bro. So, for those that don't know, Bonada plays for South Melbourne. We just wanted to ask you, bro, what is it like when you play an A-League team in the Australia Cup? Can you notice the level go up? What's it like playing an A-League team?
Yeah, well, firstly, let me say something about you guys. Congratulations for getting in the ranking of 20 in Spotify.
Gracias, bro. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, amigo.
Look, of course, you see a different level a little bit. The pace is a bit different, and then, for example, in this case, when we play against Wellington, when Rojas and Barbarosas came on, they made big difference in the speed and the touches as well. Then the rest of the young boys that they put out there, I believe. Not every NPL player can get there, but if you have the quality and you train with that intensity for a couple of weeks, you can play there as well.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro. And also, there was an interview of your coach, Esteban, on Paramount, and he said, my players, they're buffaloes. They work like crazy. I work 14 hours for this game. How much detail does he go into when you come up against a big A-League side?
Well, to be fair, Esteban prepare every game, like even if we play the bottom team of the NPL or the A-League team, like he prepared the games the same.
Yeah.
We have so much detail about every team, what they do in set pieces, how they defend, and all of that. And then based on that, we work around it.
So is he, out of all the coaches you've had, does he put in the most detail, you feel?
Oh, honey, look, in Australia, I think it's like, I never had a coach, a winner coach like him. This guy doesn't understand other thing than win, you know? Like, literally it's win. And doesn't matter how. I'm not saying that good is bad, but I never had a coach like that in here.
Bro, I just want to say thank you for calling in. Good luck. We hope to see you guys in the final. I'm sure you guys can get very close as well. And and we'll be there supporting you, bro. Thank you for the call.
Also, big congratulations.
I'll wait for you guys to come to the games. Come on.
Bonada, big congratulations for just winning the league too.
Yes, congratulations on the premiership, brother. Good work.
Thank you. Thank you, boys.
We'll speak to you
bro.
soon.
Speak
Ciao.
soon.
See you later.
Ciao.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
That's interesting, man. I mean, sorry. Yeah, that's interesting that he said that. I mean, look, NPL coaches would go into detail, but did he say 14 hours a day in that interview?
I'm pretty sure.
He said that, yeah. Yeah, he did.
What?
Bro, I was talking to my mate who's also a coach today about it. I don't think people understand. I don't know if that's close to me. I don't know if people understand the level of commitment top level coaches have to their craft. Like I don't think people understand. Like, for example, we had this coach in Korea, and so I was mates with a strength and conditioning coach, and he would come to training, he'd look tired. I'd be like, bro, what's going on? He's like, man, it's fucked, man. Because in Korea, they're not allowed to go home before the head coach goes home. So all the staff have to stay at the club until the head coach goes home. Just like a hierarchical thing, you know? He's like, bro, he never goes home, bro. We're here at 7 o'clock in the morning and lives at 12 o'clock at night. Just looking at tapes and looking at this and looking at that. I don't think people realise, like, player, different. Player, they might train in the morning, go home and just do nothing.
I think,
coach,
like you said, man, some coaches actually have set up rooms at the club or makeshift beds so they can literally work all day, get 6 hours or 5 hours of sleep, wake up and go straight back into it. Like, no messing around. Like, I've heard Mourinho, especially back in the day, was like a maniac when it came to that. But I feel like any top-level coach goes mad. And I feel like if it works for you, then great. But there also could be an aspect of, what if I'm overthinking things? What if I'm doing too much? So I guess it just depends on your style of football and your personality and all that. You look at coaches, bro, they age so quickly.
Yeah. I think because within that, but I think also because within that career, the bandwidth before you hit diminishing returns is much larger. So say, for example, as a player, if you go 12 hours, or if you go 5 hours of thinking and trying to train hard, by about 4 hours, you start to diminish, not even just diminish your returns slightly. You start to do detrimental damage to your body and your mind and everything, right? Whereas as a coach, it's like probably more is better.
Yeah.
Probably more is better. Like, and you could work a 9, 10, 12-hour day and still be really effective in getting the benefits of it. You know what I mean?
I always thought, like, and this is just my dumbass football brain, I always thought, like, how much can you possibly, like, what are the, and this is why we need a coach on, I guess, but what are the extreme lengths that they'll go to? Because for me, or for any basic football fan that's not a coach, will think, okay, he'll watch tapes, he'll say, oh, this week we got to prepare for this striker because he likes to go in behind or whatever. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the extent of just how far they will go into detail. Now I'm not the childish one anymore. We're top 20, mate. I can't say that word anymore.
Yeah, no. But how's this, right? So, again, same mate that I was talking to today, he was talking about Bielsa and how he got caught watching Derby County train. And then I don't know if you guys know about this, but then like he got in trouble for it, blah, blah, blah. He came, brought the media in. He said, look, this is all the things that I've worked out about them. It's not, in my country, it's not bad. Everyone does it. And I've actually done it for every single team in the league. So I think that's where it is. Because like he can have like all these different stats of, okay, they favour the right side. They favour this little pocket. They try to do this. In corner kicks, they do this. In free kicks, this is the person that takes penalties. This is what they do. There's like endless details that he can look at. You know what I mean? And then you've got every team in the league. Then you've got Champions League. Then do you know what I mean?
True.
Then you've got other teams' philosophies that you're trying to implement in your own game. And like,
and then teams might change depending on who they play.
Yeah.
You know, like if you, there's so many.
Yeah, there's so much attention to detail.
Which coaches would you say? I know who yours is going to be, but who would you say, Gavin? Which coach? Were you sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is very in detail?
That I've had myself.
Yeah. Think about it. Think about it.
The best coach I think I've had here is currently at Melbourne, Serbia.
Why?
Just because the sessions he put on.
What's his name?
Zelko.
Zelko what?
I'm not sure of his last name.
Wait, so you had him where?
I had him after South. I went to Springvale White Eagles for 8 games before I went to Portugal. And
right.
The best coach you had was 8 games?
So would you say that like he's the driving force behind their success?
Look at him
I don't know
now.
the story, to be honest.
Right? Look at him right now. He's got them into round of 16. 2 years ago, they were State 1. They went MPL 3, and they've been promoted now to MPL 2.
Yeah.
And that's in back-to-back, 2 years.
But have they spent a lot of money on players?
No.
Yeah, right. And what would you say is the defining thing that would make him...
Firstly, player management. The way he is with players. Like, me playing under him, I just remember he made me feel so loved. And when you have that feeling with a coach, you do anything for the coach, right?
Do you think the same was felt by the players that were on the bench?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Like our squad, obviously it wasn't a long time that I spent at
So
Springvale
he's like
Eagles,
Ancelotti.
but he was so good in terms of like getting the boys together, driving the sessions, really disciplined. He just wanted disciplined players. So if you didn't want to back what he did and you didn't want to rock up for trainings and give you 100%, he didn't care. You know? So in terms of like him picking his players, he was so good at that. And I think now results have shown.
Well, and that's... Think of all the work you got to do on detail, so on tactics, that could take up 10 hours. We've not even spoken about man management.
Yeah.
We're not even spoken about dealing with your staff. We're not even spoken about dealing with the owners or any other branch of the club that a coach has to deal with. So I don't even know how their families get any time with them during the season. Like, it must be like... Players knocking, you're trying to go through something really important and trying to concentrate. You get a knock at your door. Hey, why aren't I starting? You got to take out an hour to sit down and talk to him about why aren't you starting. Then you get that awkward conversation. You're going to piss people off. People might change their mood on you or within a day.
Yeah, dealing with the media.
The media. That's another thing that I didn't even speak about. And like even now at Chelsea, we've banished 3 or 4 players to the 21s, starters, because we want them to go. Yeah, right. That might not be the coach's decision. So then if they do come back in, those players are going to be pissed. And then it's like, well, you got to deal with that and, you know, so there's so much that goes into it. And I really do want a high-level coach to come in and just explain how much detail. Apparently, Paddy Kisnorbo is very, very detailed from what I've heard.
I feel like he would be the type of guy that would be like that video we saw of Company.
Hey, but then you got Ancelotti, which he doesn't seem like he's much detail. He just seems like he's like, man, obviously he would be, don't get me wrong, obviously. But like in comparison to some other people, he looks like he's more leadership skills.
He's the best man manager ever.
I feel like just if you walk into the room and Ancelotti's there, you're like, this man knows his shit. Yeah. He's just like, always looks good. And, you know, just like he knows how to run life.
Yeah.
I think he is the best man manager I've ever seen. And I've never heard a player come out and say they feel a way about him. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But I always hear players coming out and say, oh, it was a bit rocky with Pep. Zlatan and Pep, they don't get along.
Yeah.
I've always, you know, you hear about Mourinho all the time. Even Sir Alex, you hear about all the GOATs of coaching. There are players that have problems with it. I've never heard anything with Ancelotti. And he's been everywhere and coached at Everton, but then back to Real Madrid and then Bayern Munich.
Is that not the funniest clip? Please, can we clip this up? Is that not the funniest clip when it goes, it's like when Ancelotti realised he was done with Everton and there's the player coming on and he doesn't have his sock on?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that clip?
That. Yeah,
That's the best clip on the internet, man.
Yeah. And you know, they won the Super Cup this morning as well. They're going to be unstoppable now. Mbappe's already scored.
But interesting what else Bonata said, just to circle back onto that, and how he said that he reckons few weeks there, everyone can play there. Meaning NPL players could play A-League. Everyone says that.
And also, I think it was...
Did he say a few players or a few weeks? I think he said...
he didn't say everyone.
He said, he said not everyone. Yeah. He said a few, if they played trained at a high intensity and kept it up, they could break into. Which is...
I just want to add in, going back a few episodes when we spoke about A-League players, being at the level, or NPL players being at the level. And people are going to say that, your Wellingtons, your Central Coast, they played their youngsters. This is where I go back. That they, regardless if you're playing your youngsters, you're at an A-League squad, you should be beating
100%,
NPL squads.
yeah, 100%.
You know?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
But it happens all over the world as well. It doesn't just happen here.
Yeah,
It happens in FA Cup.
You
and
know,
all over
you
the
know
place.
how Klopp is in cups and stuff, where he's like strictly plays like his second choice keeper and all that. Doesn't matter. You still should have the quality. Also, just on that, congratulations to Melbourne victory on winning VPL 1.
Well done. And you know what? Gav said this a few weeks beforehand, and then they just went and did it.
Yeah,
So
So
well done.
buzzing. I'm buzzing to see how they go next year.
Well,
good stuff.
it'll be the test of Gavin's theory next year, and we'll see how they go. And I think it's hard to say, but they're definitely not going to go back down. I'll tell you that much. They won't go back down. No way.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Nah, no
Should we?
Well, how crazy is this? Just on this topic, I was thinking about this in the car about NPL clubs playing against A-League, and I played 2 friendlies against Victory when I was at Avondale, and then the last game I played for Avondale, we played against Western United, and we got thumped 5-0, and my coach at the time, Zocky, goes, "You know what? If you don't want to be here, give me a call and you can get out." I got in my car, buzzed him straight away. I go, "Zoc, I'm done with this."
No way.
Signed the next day with Thunder.
You know when coaches say that and no one moves?
That's the best. Good stuff,
Gavin's
Gav.
a
I
guy,
like that.
when they say, "The door's fucking right there," Gavin
He
goes,
just walks out.
"Thank you." Yes, Rash.
All
Let's
right.
you can do the intro.
Yeah.
Who are we
so
calling?
Now we got Brandon O'Neill coming in. We're going to give him a ring now to get the perspective from the A-League player of some of the difficulties and the challenges when playing NPL teams.
Now that's a seasoned player
And
though
that's
too as well.
Yeah, for those that don't know, been at Perth, played in South Korea as well, all over the place, a legend of the A-League, and even a few Socceroos caps. Yeah.
I believe so. Yep.
Yes. Let's get him on.
Yeah, I want to know what he says about the pitches and stuff. Yeah, Rash. Put a mic. Put it right into the mic, the speaker. Yeah.
Hello.
Brano.
Hello, mate. How are we?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, you too. Got the boys here. We're on the pod. We're live. Thanks for coming on.
That's all right. No dramas. All good.
We just had a quick chat with an NPL player that's still in the run for the Australia Cup, and we wanted to get your perspective, like I said, on, I guess, the A-League players' perspective on coming down and playing against NPL teams and NPL players, and the difficulties around that, and why do you think, I guess, what it's like playing in those games, and also why do you think some teams struggle?
Yeah. They are actually the hardest games to play. In terms of being a professional footballer here in Australia, because you come back into pre-season and obviously you've had a 6 to 8 week off season where you kind of have to keep yourself relatively fit, but in terms of match fitness, you only get them really from a good block of training within the first 4 weeks, say, of your pre-season schedule, and then probably the back end of your third, coming into your 4th week, is where you play your first kind of competitive game. And in that instance, you've not had a competitive game then probably for 12 to, teams that don't make the finals here, probably between 12 to 16 weeks. And that's a long time not kicking the ball in the competitive environment, So when you go in and play an NPL team, if you get drawn with them within the first sometimes 2 to 3 weeks now of pre-season, the level of exposure you've had to competitive games compared to an NPL player, that, the likes of your Sydney, your Melbourne, to be fair, anywhere here, the standard is very, very good. Yeah. And they're midway through their season or coming to the end of their season where, they're match fit, they're match hardened, they've had that exposure for a long period of time, and they're playing to a level that well and truly is, ready to rock and roll with these A-League teams. And I think that's where you've seen, especially this year, like 3 games, Heidelberg and, the Melbourne teams have done very well. Just because I think it's at that time where if you're ever going to get an A-League team, you want to get them being an NPL team.
Yeah. And then I guess great answer. Thanks, bro. That's very succinct.
I tried to as best I could.
No, it's awesome. Can you actually just while we got you, could you maybe give us a little bit of a quick rundown of what you think is the difference between, let's say, a good NPL player, an A-League player, and then a player in South Korea, that level? Because you've like we told the listeners, played in South Korea while I was there as well, and you've got that experience. So could you give us a rundown on the difference between the three?
Yeah, another great question. I think twofold. I think firstly, physicality-wise, what the players in Korea and the players here in Australia are exposed to. You know yourself, Rashid. Like when you go over there, the norm to them is a different world to us. You go over there, and the exposure of give me an example. Like over here, loads are managed. A lot, what you can and can't do. If you hit a certain amount of meters or kilometers or this and that, then you can't do any more. Where over there in Korea, it's how much can you do and more to the point where, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, Rashid, where you see blokes pulling muscles and tearing hamstrings off the bone, and they're jumping on a treadmill trying to prove to their coach that they're fine, they're ready for the weekend type thing. So there's that extreme to it, physicality-wise, that the lads in Korea just are machines, and the more they can do, pretty much the more their body can adapt, and that's a massive thing over there. And then the mindset. I guess here in Australia, we don't have promotion relegation yet. We don't have. We're very lucky, and again, you probably get this perspective moving back and living in a country like Australia. Our way of life, in terms of what we're exposed to, we play sport, and we have a culture where we enjoy on a weekend going to a football game and going to an AFL game, a rugby league game, and it's a part of our culture where we don't live and die by the results. And over in Korea, in terms of their livelihood, how they're, from their families grown up, their success is their relevance in their sport. And if they're getting paid a certain amount and they're reached a certain status in their career, if they're a professional footballer, then they feel like they've been then valued to their family name or valued to the way of existing in Korea. And it's not really like that here. And
wow, I never made that connection to the culture, actually. That's very interesting.
Like when even the way they speak to the elderly and when I was there, it just blew me away, because the culture in which a professional sportsman is seen in Korea compared to a fella on the job site there is completely different. It's night and day. So the mentality of like, we have to make this work, and I'm going to do anything in my power to make this work in Korea, where I guess here, if you're not a sports person, you can still live a very good life, and we're very lucky here in Australia to live a very good life.
And the other way, the NPL to the A-League.
The NPL to the A-League. Sorry, I was going too much down in the old South Korean days there. The NPL to the A-League. I think in terms of what we're exposed to here in the A-League, you have, I guess, the premium in terms of what that state offers. So say, for the example, like at your Melbourne Victory, your resources compared to an NPL club like a South Melbourne or a Dandenong or whatever, the resources that they have available is probably to the highest level of football they can in that state. And here in Glory is no different. Like in terms of your exposure to, I guess, your weekly schedule. So when you're training, you wake up in the morning and immediately you go into training and you're doing your prehab, you're doing your strength training, you're then going onto the field and you're getting exposed to the level of high speed meters and your tactical session you're not going to a different, you're not going to an accounting firm sitting down and learning that. And it's the exposure of that, I think, from 18, 19, 20, and you're getting that 6 days out of your 7 days a week, compared to the NPL lads that unfortunately then have to work another job. They can put their full head of steam into their football. The exposure of that is probably then where you'd probably get an A-League team in the middle of their season compared to the NPL team in the middle of their season, and that's probably just where you'd see the difference. I don't think necessarily it's got to do with talent, I definitely think it's just the exposure, and then year after year after year. If you're in the NPL system for 5 years compared to the the A-League system 5 years, and you've got the same variables where you're playing the same minutes, I think you then just see a better outcome just to the fact the exposure of everything you get in an A-League club is probably a lot higher than what you get in an NPL club, just purely for the fact that you're doing it for your professional job.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's great, Brendan. All right. That's I think we got plenty there. Thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it coming on, and good luck with the game, the Australia Cup game, and also the rest of the season.
No, appreciate it, lads. Thanks for having me on. Anytime.
Thanks, man.
Ciao.
All right. See you, man. Bye.
Whoa, some answer. Should just get him on the pod.
Very articulate.
The interesting point that he made was the one that stuck out for me was the Asian culture, and I say Asian because it's not just Koreans that do this. There's a sense of pride, and a lot of the culture is based around your job, what marks you get at school, how talented you are at something. That's why if you look at a lot of Asian kids, a lot of them are playing an instrument. They're told to do well in school, have jobs that, and I'm generalizing here obviously, but even with fashion and stuff, it's like always got to be the first to get something because it's about like title and all of that. And I think in Korea, like he said, it's life or death.
I didn't make that connection. I didn't think too much about, culturally how you get positioned in a hierarchy based on what your career is and how successful you are. But like, if you're successful in construction, that's not looked on at the same level as successful in sport. Whereas in Australia, you're not really looked at as being that special if you're an athlete. Maybe an AFL player in Melbourne. The rest of the city's not really.
Breakdance in the Olympics.
Don't get me started on that. But I think in Korea, players will probably get noticed straight away in public.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe here, unless you're like a top 5 player in the league, you can go about your business on a daily basis and no one's really going to come up to you and all that. And a lot of A-League players, if you saw them outside of their job, you wouldn't think anything. You would just think a regular dude.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe, I don't know, I haven't been, but in Korea it seems like, like Brandon O'Neill said, life or death. And he was, instead of another thing that he said that stuck out was the whole load thing. In Korea, they will push their bodily limits, whereas here it's like, nah, mate, enough. Let's keep you fit.
Yeah.
Let's keep you nice and sharp. That's interesting.
And I guess also he obviously mirrored a lot of what Bonata said, which he doesn't think the difference is the talent. He just thinks it's the regularity of the training, touching the ball, the resources that creates the difference between the NPL player, let's say a good NPL player and maybe an average
You know what's funny?
player.
Remember how 2 weeks ago we spoke about that tweet where the guy's like, I think it's unfair that A-League clubs have to play NPL clubs? Brandon agreed with him.
Yeah.
So everyone that was cooking him, including us, especially me, an A-League player has just come out and said, well, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Like he said verbatim, we're not match sharp. We haven't played in 12 weeks. Yeah. He didn't say it's unfair though. Yeah. That might be the difference. He just said the reality is.
It's not that
and
it's
I think
unfair,
also being a footballer, when you're getting into pre-season and you have your first match or your first 4 games, it's almost, if you've had 2-3 months off, it's weird. You're like, wait, should I be positioned here? Do I run this way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas once you're midway into the season, you're just flowing.
But
it's like you're in sync with the game.
I think when NPL clubs come up against A-League teams, He said it's the hardest type of game to play.
Yeah.
And he didn't mention this. The NPL teams want to smash you.
Yeah.
They want to prove everyone, they want to prove
Yeah.
that they can beat an A-League team. So they're going to put in an extra 10% on what they do. Man, when I watch Australia Cup games, these NPL boys clatter these A-League players. They tackle hard. They fight hard. And, you know, an A-League player coming out for their first game of the season, and then the guys on the other side want to kill you.
Yeah.
It could be very difficult.
And I think there is a different aura around the Australia Cup that coaches do not. You have a coach that will say, "I want to win everything," but also you have to by definition prioritize things. You have to. You can't say this is just as important as this. It doesn't work. You have to prioritize something at some point in your life, right? And I think the majority of coaches would prioritize the league over the Australia Cup.
Of course.
So then it's like, even as a player, you're like, okay, I'm coming off holiday. Like, yes, like you said, you try to keep fit, you try to get ready, but you're also coming off holiday. Like, you're not coming off holiday 3 weeks early to come in to play your Australia Cup game.
And I think
that means you're then getting maybe
NPL
3 days
side,
holiday.
Yeah, from an NPL side or whoever's there playing against A-League, they've got nothing to lose at the end of the day. So for them to get a result against A-League is massive. Whereas vice versa,
It's
it's more building them up for the season, you know?
It's expected to win, and
Yeah.
you're expected to win as well. But yeah, I think it's obviously this will slowly change once the Australia Cup becomes more historical. It's very new.
Yeah.
Well, I think in England it's so big, isn't it? FA Cup.
FA is, but then a lot of managers visibly do not care about a Carabao
Yeah.
or a League Cup. And that might be going soon. But the FA Cup will always be special. It's the best cup competition because of the magic of the cup. And hopefully the Australia Cup can reach that level where it's looked at. It's always going to be a secondary trophy, obviously. But hopefully it's looked at more like, you know, in Australia, you get one chance to win silverware. Let's be real. As of late, we're not winning the Asian Champions League. The Western Sydney one was, all due respect, I don't want to say it's a fluke, but you know what I mean. It's like it's a rare occasion.
We'll say it was incredible.
We'll say it was incredible, right? Leicester winning the league. No, maybe a bit less. Then AFC Cup as well. Okay, is an Australian team going to win that? It's hard to say. You really only have one shot at a trophy. So, you know, overseas players play in Super Cups and League Cups and, you know, Champions League and Europa League and Conference League. And so the FA Cup, or the Australia Cup, I should say, should be looked at as a serious trophy, and it will be. Every year I feel like it gets better.
Yeah, I think it's underrated.
Yeah.
I think it's the best, man.
Yeah, sick.
That's so sick.
We'll be there.
Yeah, come on, are we telling them?
Which one?
Yeah, where are we going? Heidelberg, Oakley.
Yeah, we'll
We're
be
there.
Yeah, we'll
We're
be at
there.
that one. It's Heidelberg, right?
We'll
Do
have
a
a
food
presence.
review, everything.
We'll have a marquee.
Whichever club gives us money, we'll support you. So,
Down.
you know,
We'll be the commentators for the game.
Hume, Melbourne, Serbia will be good as well.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice
Is that
little
same night?
one. It doesn't say the nights here. Doesn't say the nights.
Are we also going Preston Langwarren?
There could-
Preston
yeah.
to get promoted.
We won't say why we want to go, but yeah, yeah.
Macedonia.
Shout out Preston.
Jigs.
Shout out Jigs. Right off that. The Premier League is around the corner. Now, obviously, we don't focus too heavy on the Prem, but it is without a doubt the best league in the world, the most followed league. We know all you guys have a Prem team. I am super excited, and I am ready for Chelsea to dictate my mood for 10 months or however long it is.
It's gonna be a nightmare of a season.
Yeah.
Sounds
For
like
us.
a toxic girlfriend.
It is. It is the worst. It's a toxic wife that you can't divorce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm excited. We're looking good and bad.
Chelsea's like the sugar mama of you. Like, you got to keep her around.
Yeah, but it's more just like I'm really strapping up for heartache, but also for pure joy. Like, nothing injects adrenaline into my life like watching Chelsea play.
Can I ask you a serious question, honestly? Have you ever thought of changing clubs?
No. You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
Whoever's changed teams in their life,
You can't.
has to disown
But
football.
you know what the thing is, Rash? There was one part of me that once I learnt about Chelsea's history with the racism and stuff, I was like, fuck's sake. But you can't change teams.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change because a bunch of Chelsea fans back in the day were like, it doesn't work like that. But they're my team. I've cried over them, as weird as that sounds. And I've spent thousands of dollars traveling to go see them on numerous occasions. They're my team. So I'm just excited for the new season. I think this is going to be Pep's last season. I'm not going to say who's going to win the league because it'll make me physically sick to say it. But yeah, man, it's shaping up. And you know what? You heard it here third or fourth because I wasn't the first person to say it. We're going to get a transfer ban. That's why we're signing all these players. There's no other explanation. Why do we have 8 goalkeepers? We have 8 goalkeepers that are eligible for first team, not like an under 18. We have 8 goal. We have a 44-man squad.
Cole Palmer, like a 10-year deal.
Yeah, Cole's signed till 2030 or something.
Yeah, how does that work, bro?
So
Imagine that. Imagine getting that deal.
I believe it's called amortization. So to get around the loopholes of FFP, instead of paying an outright figure for the player, it actually gets split between 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's why all of our players are on 8-year deals.
Yeah, right.
But they're not going to stay for 8 years. Mudrik's not going to stay at Chelsea for 8
But
years.
imagine that. Like, you still got to pay the player for 8 more years.
You see, Vinny Jr. got offered $1 billion. Is that real or is that fake?
I feel like it could
Where
be real.
to?
Saudi. If he went to Saudi, bro, my respect for him would go like, okay, I get it if you're 30 and you want to see out your career, make some coin, but bro, you're at the best club in the world. You're at the richest club in the world. Why the hell would you want to go Saudi? Like, you can already change your family's life for generations and generations and generations. Come on, man. It's to the point where it's becoming... I hope Saudi fails.
Do you?
Yeah.
I hope it does well.
I think it is.
Well, remember the Chinese Super League tried this ages ago?
Yeah.
All the players are going there. This
Yeah.
is different money. Russia did it as well. Angie Machakshalaka, or whatever it was called. All the players are going there. Eto, William, whatever. I think Eto went there. I can't remember. Every so often, there's a team that comes along. There's a league that comes along that tries to go crazy. But
did they put that much money into youth as
Who?
what Saudi are doing? China and Russia.
what you mean buying young players?
No, into like their infrastructure and
I'm not sure.
their academies and stuff like that.
I can't say. But
It's crazy even for like Olympic sake, right? China do so well in everything. Population insane, and they still can't figure out football.
Well, it's like India.
You know,
India's got 1 billion people and one of the worst football teams in the world.
just
Because
great
it's
at cricket.
art, bro. It's not sport. It's art.
That's a thing, right?
It's not mechanical, bro.
Olympics, you have to drill them.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not robotic. It's not mechanic. It's
trampoline
art.
gymnastics. You got to do that.
Gymnastics.
Yeah, just flip, bounce, flip.
Speaking on the Prem, any Chelsea fans that follow us, follow me. I'll follow you back. We'll kick it. We'll talk. We'll chop it up.
I've got a question for you, Jerome.
Yeah.
Just because this is on my mind.
Yeah. I'm an open book.
If you follow Chelsea, that's in England.
Yeah.
Do you have your own team in Italy? Or is this a thing? Like I had this thought to the listeners: are you a team per country?
Nah, fuck no.
Or are you just one team? That's it.
I
want to know.
I think. Now, look, I'm a Victory fan, right? So this is my thinking around following several teams. You should follow one team, but if you live in America, Australia, New Zealand, Asia, you know what? You're never going to play a competitive game against any of the big European teams unless it's Club World Cup, which is 1 in 100,000 chance that your team's going to play them, right? So I think it's fine supporting my hometown team, Melbourne Victory, and Chelsea. I think that's fine. What I don't like is when people say, oh, in Prem I go for Chelsea, in Bundesliga I go for Bayern Munich, in La Liga I go for Atletico, in France I go for Lille. What?
What do we think about Australians that don't follow Australian football?
That's weird to me. Don't get me wrong. I know why people prefer to watch the Prem. It's the best football product in the world. I get it. But you're missing out on so much if you don't follow football here. You are missing out on feeling like you're a part of a community. You're missing out on feeling like something that's truly yours, because I love Chelsea. I've supported them for 15 years. If I was to ever get a tattoo, it would probably be Chelsea, and that's it, right? And I will spend thousands of dollars on them, and I'll do whatever for Chelsea, right? But the reality is I actually don't have a connection to the club. Yep. I have no parents. There's no English heritage. There's nothing. I just chose them, and that's my team. And some people look at that like weird. I try to respect the values, though, of Chelsea and the fans there. If I go there, I'm not vlogging everything. I'm not taking a video of absolutely everything. I'll get my photos, whatever. But I'm there to support like the rest of them. I'm not here to be a tourist. So that also gets on some homegrown fans' nerves as well. But you can't support that many teams, Gav.
Yeah, that's my question.
Like,
because I feel like a lot of people, they got the England team, Italian, French.
Good point, bro. That's a mad snippet.
So I would love to know to the listeners if they're a one-man team or if they're a gangbang.
Kevin.
Well, sorry.
I think let's say one-man team in Europe.
Are they loyal or are they cheaters?
Yeah. Because I genuinely think there's nothing wrong with supporting an A-League team and a Prem team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's probably the norm, to be honest.
So you support where you're from and you support your international.
Yeah, and like you're obviously going to support River because you played there. So that's completely fine, right? That's your team. But I know your team in the Prem is Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm Arsenal. But like if I was to watch the Spanish league, I couldn't care less if I was Real Madrid, Barcelona.
Neither.
If I was, France, I wouldn't go for PSG or Lyon.
Neither. Rash, you've never had a team, but what was the closest maybe?
Okay, sorry. My mind's just going off on... Yeah. Have you read the book Sapiens? Have you heard about this book?
No.
He talks about how the idea of things, right? He talks about football fans and fans that support football teams, right? What is the actual football club?
What is it?
Yeah.
It's a made-up entity.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like the emblem changes.
Yeah.
Right? The colours even change slightly. The jerseys change. Sometimes the stadiums change. The locations change. The fans change. The players, the manager, everything changes. Eventually you get to the point over however many years that nothing is the same that it was 20 years ago, let's say. Maybe 50 years ago. Absolutely everything has changed. But the idea of it is still the same.
Well, it's like your last name.
So you're saying we support it because of the idea of it?
I'm just saying you're supporting nothing.
Fuck that book. No, I get it.
But it's like
Rash is the god of Rash is the god of technicalities, and when he says factual shit like that, it's technically true. But I guess he's right. It's the idea of it, and but then again,
I'll give you the great example.
Hold on, one sec. But please. But then again, there are some traditions that will never die. They will never die. Like, Liverpool will not stop singing You'll Never Walk Alone. They will always be a red team.
No, it's not true. What do you mean? They started as a blue team, bro. Liverpool, look at the history of Liverpool. I believe they started as Everton.
Yeah, but...
And they were blue.
No, but okay, let's go from Liverpool.
Yeah, but that wasn't the start of the club. That's my point.
Yeah, but it's formed as Liverpool after that.
So what's to say it won't change again?
Man,
of course it will
fuck that.
change.
Fuck all that book. Fuck that book, man. Fuck that book, man.
It's like me trying to play for Sri Lanka. I need the birth certificate of my great-great-grandfather, and he's long gone.
Exactly.
Mr. Denise.
So this is like...
Gave me my last name, and now I can't find it because I can't find his birth certificate.
What was the snippet we were talking about, the race thing or something? Oh, the Argentinians and the migration and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Even countries, bro, they're all made up.
Yes, but then...
Everything is made up. Now I'm spiraling, man.
When you have that outlook on life, when you go too deep on that, you actually can't enjoy anything.
Never
no. You can, but you just need to realize that you are playing a game
Of course.
that is not actually in touch with reality.
But then in my...
If I wanted to be real about it, I wouldn't even do this pod because we literally are talking about a made-up game.
Yeah,
well, I was
true.
also thinking right now just off teams.
Which I don't know why I'm
I
doing
don't
it.
think Jerome, I don't think I've seen you in another jersey, but thinking about teams, I could never wear like a Real Madrid shirt. It would just feel not right. Like, would you wear like a PSG jersey with Mbappe on the back?
I don't wear jerseys much as it is, but I have some like, I went to PSG, the stadium tour, so I bought like a training kit or I bought, I've got like a Brazilian jacket, but most of my stuff is Chelsea stuff, but I don't wear much apparel anyway.
Yeah. On that topic, how much better is it when you go to like an outlet of a team and instead of getting the jersey that everyone has, they can order whenever from Rebel or whatever, you get like a unique singlet or like unique pair of shorts
That's
or training
why
kit.
But back to, so you never came close to supporting a team? Don't say Oakley Cannons. Like,
I supported Manchester United, but honestly, if I'm really honest with myself, I don't give a fuck what they do.
So where does your enjoyment come from as a football fan?
I like the chess and I like the complexity of it. I like the complexity of the sport.
Okay.
And like what makes a person good, what makes them better, worse, the technical, the tactical,
Style of play.
the individual tactical.
You're then not obliged to watch every week then?
No, like I've always said, I used to watch players. I was a fan of players. So I would watch games to watch certain players or watch teams to watch the way that team would play. So, for example, I was a Manchester United fan, but back when I was growing up, Arsenal were amazing to watch. Arsene Wenger, Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Bergkamp, all them. So I would watch them with as much joy and vigour as I would watch Manchester United.
I think you're a maverick, I think is the word, or like not an outcast. What's the word I'm looking for?
Outcast.
You're not an outcast. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not too sure what the word is. I sound like Theo Von right now. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I've got
but I just want to say that
Can you search up some help?
humans love tribalism. And that's where sports, and that's why sports are such a big part of culture, because since the Stone Age, it's always about, this is my crew, this is my gang, this is my team, this is my whatever. And people just like to feel like they belong to something. And I think that's what it is, because really, one of the best things I've ever done in my life is going to Stamford Bridge and then a few fans making me feel at home. I'm like, oh my God, like this is something I dreamed of doing. And I think that tribalism / fanatical side is what lures so many people in. And
Don't get me wrong, I'm willing to play the game of it because I enjoy the game of it, but I realise it's a game.
I think
it's
also,
not real.
sorry, one more point, and then sorry, Gav. For me, supporting a team, it's going to sound crazy, but it can save people's lives. That sounds crazy to say, but for instance, if I live in a really rough working class town in the UK or anywhere in Europe, and there's nothing for me, right? Generations on generations, my family were just poor. There's nothing in the town. There's no entertainment. The weather's grim. I work, 9 to 5 just to put food on my family's table. They can forget about it all for at least 3-4 hours on a Saturday where they have a drink with their mates. They travel. Yes, it puts them through heartache and pain and all that, but we've seen with the Wrexham documentary, if a football team does good, it literally changes the fabric of the town. Everything goes up. The economy, tourism, everything. And that can all be changed by a football club. That's why I love football, I guess. It's so powerful. Like you don't see basketball teams doing that. Like, come on. So that's why I think, go.
And I think also just with you there, Jerome, there's nothing better, like I'm sure heaps of people do this.
Yeah, everyone.
A Prem nights,
Oh, they're sick.
You get ready, especially now for the 9 p.m.
I'm already
You go
planning
to
for this
11s,
weekend.
You go for the 2s. And I just remember growing up with my best mate, doing that, watching Thierry Henry, then watching Man United, Van Nistelrooy, getting the jerseys, going out the next day, going for the kicks, trying to practice the same shot that he did. And you live for those nights to then move on every week.
I'm getting emotional.
It's true.
On the Premier League, there's some new rules that have come in. 5 new rules. They are: referees will now announce their decisions to the crowd and the TV audience, which is going to be very interesting. Also, team lineups will be released earlier. Instead of an hour, they'll be 75 minutes. So that'll help me a bit with my anxiety. I'll sit there and wait. If the game's at 1, I'm on my phone at 11:59. Like,
I was just about, you know what's so funny? This is the difference between me and you. I was just about to say, who gives a fuck? 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 15 minutes. But
that would be more for the coach, though.
I don't know what that is for, whether that's for broadcast, whether that's for...
Maybe betting.
I think it's for the broadcast.
Betting, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Betting. Yeah.
Could be.
Good point, Gav.
No winter break. Come on!
Yep.
The winter break has been scrapped with the season starting a week later. Time wasting warnings. Players will be warned about time wasting before receiving yellow cards. So that's...
What? Surely they've already been doing that.
That's stupid. I feel like they've already been doing that. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think excited for the Prem season.
That was 4.
Was that 4 or 5?
Wasn't that 4? Anyways,
One,
the first
2,
one's the
3,
most interesting
4.
to me because
No, that was 5.
this is going to be an absolute nightmare from my perspective.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I did forget one.
Yeah, okay.
Semi-automated offside. The technology will help make quicker and more accurate offside calls. So what we've been seeing in the Euros and stuff like that. So it'll be quicker. What were you saying?
I was just going to say about this, Pete, explaining your decisions. Explaining the refs' decisions. Like, I understand it. It holds a little bit more accountability on them. You console the crowd a little bit. But I rather don't explain yourself. I'm big on don't explain yourself. Like, for example, if you said to me, hey, do you want to go for dinner? And I said...
No.
If I said, oh, nah, I've got to get up in the morning to work. Then you're going to come back to me and be like, yeah, but... just go to bed as soon as you get home. And I'll be like, yeah, but I can't because I've got to brush my teeth. But I've got to explain myself, right? Instead, I should just say, no. That's it, bro. Don't explain yourself. It's going to get to the point where, and I think it goes back to the Simon Hill thing, trying to create more breaks in the game so that they can put ads in. But anyway... it's going to end up there. What? They're going to stand in front of the crowd that they've made a bad call against for an hour after the game, explain themselves and try to, sorry about that one.
No, bro, I think it's live.
I know. I'm being facetious.
Oh, what do you mean? I think the explanation's not after the game.
No, I know. I'm saying it's going to get to that. Like, what are we... we're going to eventually get to the point where they're standing with the crowd after for an hour and explaining themselves.
Yeah, like guys...
just get on with it. They made a wrong
They'll
decision.
be having a beer in the pub.
I think while Rash said it could console fans, but then it could also inflame the situation.
100%. In the heat of the moment, as a fan, the last thing you could care if he explains why he got it wrong.
Yeah.
Because
and it's already done.
The fan is going to have his point of view, and if the ref goes against it and explains himself, that's even going to make it worse.
Yeah.
You know what? Rash is right. Why do we even... This is all just made up. Let's just...
yeah.
Let's just... Pause.
Oh, come on.
That's you.
So well.
We should add in... Okay, so we need fines. Guys, listeners,
No
we need...
way!
No, hold on.
I'm giving up pause.
We need a fines list. We need late fine, whatever it is, and we need a pause fine.
Why do I
took
have a
tolls.
specific one for me? Because you don't say it.
I took tolls today.
Well done, Gav. No one else says it, so why is it like...
Because I don't want to start saying it, and it's getting into my lexicon somehow, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm
I just like
influential.
tickling the bait now.
All right.
In front of you.
Moving on. Rash brought up a good thing. We're going to highlight some A-League signings for the new season coming up. I have listed my favourites just off paper, really, on paper, I should say. Firstly, I've gone with Amlani Tartu from Adelaide United. He's 16 years old. He's been promoted to the first team. They're saying he's the next Nestory.
The Adelaide are producing some players, man.
He's
They're
a
doing
left
something over
winger.
there.
He's Burundian like Nestori. It's almost like a FIFA regen, like a carbon copy. They could have another little starlet on their hands. Now, let me explain this properly. This was sort of last week's news, but we'll say it anyway. Alex Paulson of Wellington Phoenix signed for Bournemouth in the Premier League. Well done. Now he's been recently loaned to Auckland in the A-League.
Okay.
People are pissed about that.
That's a good move.
That's an agent special.
People are pissed about that because there's a law in the A-League called the Caceres Rule. The Caceres Rule was imposed by Football Australia that prevents a player from being registered in an A-League season if said player was purchased by a multi-club ownership. So I believe whoever owns Bournemouth owns Auckland. So
what happened with Caceres? He was purchased by City and then loaned to what?
Was it Sydney FC?
Or Melbourne City.
Melbourne City.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, he was bought from... Where was he bought
He
from?
might have been at Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah, I think... Well, we could be wrong there.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if the Caceres clause is still...
Imagine that.
I want a law named after me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a decent player, that boy.
I don't know if the Caceres law got taken away, though. I think it got taken away. Let me just double check that.
But what
To be
is
fair, that's a stupid rule. Because if you're a bigger club that owns a smaller club and you want to, maintain that guy playing games because he wasn't going to play at Man City at the time, sounds perfectly fine to then go and play for Melbourne City. What's wrong with that?
I think people might get annoyed because of having a monopoly on I don't like the multi-club system. I hate it. I can't believe Chelsea's now involved in one. I don't.
what is Chelsea involved in?
Blueco. We own Strasbourg, Chelsea, a team in South America. I can't remember who. Victory's a part of one. Melbourne City Group, obviously. They own friggin' 20 clubs.
Victory's a part of one.
Yeah.
What?
The 777.
Which clubs?
I'll tell you. Victory
777.
Multi-Club.
Sounds like a girl that believes in crystals.
I'll tell you right now, Rush. Let me just...
Who was the first to do it? Was it the
think it was
Leipzig
City.
Red Bull and that?
Oh, it could have been, yeah, that could have been another, that's another one. I don't know if they've still a part of it. I don't know anything. But Victory were a part of 777, and the clubs were Vasco da Gama, Genoa, Red Star FC in France, Sevilla.
What?
Yeah. They're the
Hold
ones
on.
that-
So this company, 777, owns all of those clubs. So then,
I
for
believe
example,
so.
can buy someone from Vasco and then loan them to Melbourne Victory.
I guess.
Well, not even loan them, but free.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I might have read that
I'm so lost.
I might have read that they stopped, that Victory pulled out of it.
Victory pulled out.
They were
I don't think Muscat's Portuguese was that cleaned up at the time.
All right, let's get off this shit.
but yeah, that's the multi.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're a football pod. You know what, Gav? That's a red.
Can we do fines for cards?
No. So yeah, that's a multi-club system. So there's Alex Paulson there. Let me get back to my list. But he was the top, besides Izzo, he was the best keeper in the league last year. So Auckland have gone and got the best keeper in the league, basically.
Yeah.
Jake Brimmer, I think, is a really good signing.
Agreed.
Just an experienced A-League player, an experienced head in the middle of the park. He's got leadership qualities. And they've signed Hiroki Sakai, he's an older player, but he's played at the top levels of football. Marseille, Hamburg. He's won cups in Germany and France, and he's a Japan international. He will be a very good player for them. Victory, I've gone with Mitch Langerak.
Oh, yep.
Guess what? I used to watch him back in the day when he was at South, and he was the second goalkeeper at the time.
God, he would have been 17. How old was he?
I don't know, but he was bloody tall.
Mitch Langerak, for me, is mainly based off nostalgia, but also he's gone to Dortmund. He's gone to the J League. Like, we need an experienced keeper to replace Izzo. So I've gone with him because I've looked at the other signings and no one's really stood out to me. There've been some decent ones like Reno and Brennan Hamill and Jing Reese and all that. So there's been a few, but no like power moves from Victory. Western Sydney Wanderers. I don't know much about these. Well, I know a little bit about one, but the first one I don't know much about. Jeong Tae Wook from the K-League. Represented Korea under 23s. Apparently, he's an animal. He's like 28. Very solid defender. And there's been a lot of talk about he's actually gone on loan to Wanderers from the K-League. And then Bozidar Kraev, who was at Wellington last year, had a very good season. He's gone to Wanderers. And then my last pick is Sydney FC have signed this guy called Anas Wahim. I don't know anything about him. I've never seen him play, but guess what? He's Moroccan. And he was born in Germany, and he's 26, and he's an attacking midfielder. You know what that says to me?
Ooh.
Ball mastery.
Yeah, that sounds like a good player.
So he's played in the Bundesliga 2 and the Eredivisie. Man, he's going to be one of those. He'll pull out the tricks. He's 26. That's who stood out for me. I don't know if any.
Can I just say the North Africans, man?
Yeah,
at
they're
the moment. Oh my god! I mean, not at the moment only because they've produced a lot. But
I don't know.
Who was it in the Olympics against Argentina? Was it
Morocco?
Morocco. Oh my god, man!
Bro, they were doing
so good, bro.
They were doing FIFA
The
Street.
number 10?
Yeah,
They were doing
so
FIFA
good,
Street
man.
skills.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up if any NPL players have gone.
Well, what about
onto
Luke Bratton?
A-League.
I saw that's a good signing.
To MacArthur.
That's a
Yeah, it's a good
That's-
experience
Oh,
signing.
we've got the.
that's a very good.
We've got the Argentinian.
who? Just because he's
signed for-
Argentinian doesn't mean he's good, Gav.
I played against him. Who's 1996?
Is it Headman?
Yeah. If we want to get him on, we'll get a translator.
Well, he's gone to Melbourne City.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, hopefully we get to speak to City soon because they've lost a lot of important players.
Oh, we got Retre.
Yeah.
yeah,
Retro signed where?
Wellington.
Wellington.
Oh, I did see that actually. Far out. A lot of movement, eh?
There's a lot of movement, but there's no like
gonna be a good season.
major marquees
Yeah,
yet.
nothing big.
Nothing big. No big boys,
Nothing.
which maybe is good.
Yeah, this is maybe a turning point for the
Yeah,
A-League.
no
This
more
could be it.
Keisuke Hondas.
Well, we're getting promoted to the top 10 of Spotify
Right now?
soon.
Oh, soon.
That's the biggest move so
That's
far.
the biggest move.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the biggest move in
Australian
Melbourne football.
football.
Australian football.
I just wanted to quickly ask you guys, we're going all over the place today, but that's standard. I just wanted to ask you guys, with everything going on at the moment in the transfer market, let me rephrase that. When you guys were playing at certain clubs during transfer windows, did your club sign anyone and you thought, fuck, I'm gonna have to fight with this guy now for my position?
Well, my second season they signed Carl Valeri, so that's that's going to be hard to compete with. You know what was crazy? Do you remember this in Argentina? How they would have trialists come every week or every second
Randoms.
week, bro. Yeah. And I don't know if it was a psychological thing to like push you to make you think, hey, people are coming, coming. But you would just never feel like, oh yeah, I'm playing every week. I'm secure. My position's secure.
At
Never
River,
felt like that.
every Friday you would have 200 new players
Wait.
come through the door.
Wait, for what? Of all age groups?
Bro,
All age
crazy.
groups.
It's crazy.
Just imagine, right? Man United would be exactly the same, right? Every single player in the world wants to play there.
Yeah.
It's movement, organic movement, right?
Yeah.
So you get the best players.
Sure, that's not AI. 200 people.
And there would just be scouts, and they would bring them in. Like, they would have paid scouts to go all around Argentina to bring the best players in weekly.
But yeah,
I think from my experience there, the coaches drilled in, and we spoke about this midweek, of how important, who was it, Eric Dyer, when he was at Sporting Lisbon, about respecting where you are. And I think that is a massive thing. Like, all the boys that I grew up playing with, every single one of them were either 5 to 10 years in that squad.
Yeah.
And to get into the River Plate squad was so hard. So I reckon the 6 years I spent there, we might have had 4 to 6 boys that ended up joining the 1996 group.
But what about someone coming in to take your spot? Like even in NPL, did a club sign someone and you thought, "Fuck's sake"?
Yeah, of course. That always happens.
Say it. Don't
Always.
put your pride down.
I can't think off the top of my head.
Put your ego down.
No, I can't think off the top of my head.
But just on that, just picture. Imagine you playing for Melbourne Victory, let's say, under 13s or let's say under 14s, right? And every week, bro, they don't do their trials and then they pick the team and then that's the team for 6 months. They do the trials, they pick the team, you're in the team. The next week, you have another 50 kids come and trial for that.
Always fighting.
And
next week, another 50.
Yeah.
Next week, another 20. Every week, bro. Imagine how unsettling that is and how much you think, like, I got to keep pushing. I got to keep pushing.
That's that do or die attitude in Argentina.
Which comes back to the Eric Dyer thing where he's like, well, then it's like, from the coaching perspective, it's easier to hold the kids to a higher standard because it's like, look who wants to come here. Everyone wants to come here. It's not like, just throw in the toys when it gets too hard and complain about
I think
the standards.
I was speaking to a boy the other day who's playing NPL at the moment, under 14s. And I said to him, if you're playing NPL right now, you're at the highest standard right now here in Victoria and Melbourne. So hold that with 2 hands and keep moving forward with it, you know?
Did you guys ever think you were going to sign for a club and it backfired? Because that's happening a lot recently. Like, did you ever think, oh, yeah, we're on here? And even maybe go meet people and think, oh, yeah, we're on here, and then out of nowhere, nah.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I went from River to Blackpool, basically saying that I had the deal done. And when I got there,
Can you explain that a little bit more? Put a little bit more detail in, like, who'd you speak to? What did they say to you?
So I was at River, and one of my mates that I was playing with me at the time, Tommy Andrade, he signed for Bournemouth through an agent, Argentinian agent that had a link in England. And that agent knew that I had an Irish passport, so he hooked me up with Blackpool.
Yep.
It took me about 6 months to get released from River, went to Blackpool, and the deal wasn't on the table. And I had to trial and go from there.
So you were still in at River and you left on your own accord.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. Wow.
So you went all the way to England and they said they were going to offer you something.
Yeah.
You went there and then they're like, nah, mate, you got a trial.
Yeah.
Ugh, that would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
And then how the trial go? Not well, obviously.
Well, from there, I was with the under-23s at Blackpool. I was living with Gavin McCann at the time.
Yeah.
He said he had played at Sunderland and Everton. He goes, Gav, go there. Went there and
To Sunderland.
Standard was unbelievable, like so good.
a
And even like facility-wise compared to River, 3-4 times better.
What about the standard in comparison to River?
Different
players?
football. The English, the way they passed the ball and probably position-wise was better. But then in terms of like flair and everything, the Argentinians took over.
English, they love drilling the fucking ball at you.
Yeah.
Like
the
when
standard
Gerard
of the standard of passing was unbelievable.
like it's so quick and sharp. Like they
And they could
drill
just
it.
hit like grass cutters with the laces.
Yeah.
So easy. Where over in Argentina, they wouldn't even teach you that.
English
it would all be like more secure. Where they're the risk of that pass, but because it was so drilled into them, it was just like beautiful.
That's interesting, Gav. So you thought you were going to sign for Blackpool.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. What about you? Was there any clubs where you thought I'm on here and then they're like, psych, fuck you?
There was a period in Argentina where I can't remember what happened. So we'd gone to River. We trialled at River. There was some discussion about, okay, yes, we want you to come back. We had the Christmas period, came back home, went back over. This is me and Chris. Went back over. When we got there, all the directors and everything had changed. The whole coaches had changed. Remember that?
Yeah, that's a big thing over there too.
And we got there and they were like, well, who are you guys? We've never heard of you before.
But that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Over there
There was
they
no
have-
crossover of information.
Yeah. It's like they have elections over there. They have elections on the president. So if the president changes, which at the time would have been like Pasarela, who was coach of Argentina at one stage, that completely changes. And if that changes, then if they want, they'll change the whole junior system on who the coaches are.
That's shit.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So that happened, and then pretty much we ended up knocking long balls on the side of a highway.
You and Chris.
for a few weeks.
You and Chris just pinging them.
Yeah, man.
Like, what the
Just
fuck?
on the
Get us
side of
back
a
to
highway,
Oakland.
bro. Because then the window had closed. We couldn't get in with any other clubs, and we were just like, we obviously wanted to train. There wasn't any grounds around where we were. Like there was like, as in close to our house. So we are at one point, me and him were knocking long balls next to a highway, and we were like, what in the world are we doing here?
Jesus.
That was
All right.
pre-Independiente.
Let's try zoom through these. So give your
Is this amateur agent?
amateur agents. We're back. Who's the best football player on the panel? Okay, I'm obviously dead last. But what I will say is I can do things with the ball that the rest of the panel can't.
Like what?
Like certain tricks and stuff. I'm almost certain of it.
So you're the best freestyler.
I'm the best freestyler on the pod, yes. As soon as it comes to stepping onto a pitch, I'm obviously dead last.
Is
Like,
that a question? Someone asked that.
yeah. Now, as for the other rankings, I'd say currently, due to fitness and stuff, Gav would be at the top.
What? He can't even move, bro.
No, but I'm saying like, he's played more recently, right?
He's got an ACL injury, so it's either it's current or it's across the board.
Oh no, he
Has
wants to be
Jake done
first.
his knee or not? Jake's never had serious injury.
Jake's currently got a hamstring.
Jake's currently got a hamstring injury. Also, that's another thing. Do we
should
speak
do a
about?
My heels
This
gone,
is what
man.
we need to do.
Oh,
when,
yeah.
when we're back playing, me, we need to do a 1v1 football tennis tournament between the four of us.
Nah.
And that's how we rank the panel.
No, we're not. We're not. We need to do another ranking system.
Why? You're techie.
No. We need to do 2 touch in the D, then the shot.
In the D.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you stand in the D.
Nah, I reckon we got to do
Touch and shoot.
This is what we got to do. Ask the
No, you're just
listeners.
scared. You're just
Ask
scared.
the listeners for a three different drills, like a crossbar, like a football tennis,
I've got
and
this.
like a
The 2
corner
touch.
kick. Cross
Give me
it
the
in.
2 touch.
Yes.
You know?
Let's get in a list.
A list, like
A
a
list of 6 things.
6 things.
So right now, my ranking would be if Gavin didn't have an ACL, he'd be currently number 1. If he didn't have an ACL, now that he has an ACL, you're last, and I'm third.
I'm playing every day.
And then I would say Rash is better than Jake.
Oh, that's a big call.
Oh, actually, fuck.
That's my new word. That's my new word.
Who played professionally? Like
It depends on what you're talking
Jake's
about.
played
it
international, man.
It honestly depends on what you're talking about.
no, but I mean currently. Like
Currently.
who was the last person?
Currently, it's me. Currently,
Okay.
I'm the best player.
All right.
Currently.
Okay, all right. Fuck, all right.
Actually, I've got a heel issue, so...
Yeah, you're a
But
helium.
yes,
You've got helium.
like, if you said, let's go right now play, I probably wouldn't be able to walk for 4 weeks after, but
Okay.
I'm the best player.
All right, but I just want to ask you, who played NPL more recently, you or Jake?
More recently...
Yeah. Was you, wasn't it? Or who played pro
Well,
more
he
recently?
had stopped. He had stopped.
Oh, so
when
you're
I
number
come
1.
back from Korea.
You're number 1. Jake's number 2. I'm number 3. Gavin's
Gav's
number
number
4.
4.
Actually, I'm 2 because he's got a
yeah,
hamstring.
that's what I'm saying. You're 2.
I can't believe I'm second.
To be fair, you play every week. You actually might be number 1, to be fair.
Nah. There's
I
certain
reckon
things,
to
there's
the
certain-
listeners,
At the
like I
moment,
said,
honestly.
there's
we
certain-
need a 3 to 5 drills, and then we'll do it, and then we'll have a competition.
All right.
Who gets the most?
We are the most battered and bruised football podcast at the moment in Australia.
I've never played pro, and I'm the most battered and bruised.
We need some tape.
All right, let's get through these. I'm trying. Gavin, how on earth do you do the foot volley chest pass with a normal football? It feels impossible. I'll tell you straight out, your first problem's using a normal football.
Yeah.
First problem, normal football. You got to stop chesting the ball how you normally would. Thirdly, you got to come down to a session so I can actually teach you. Fourthly, if that's even a word.
Yeah, fourth.
You got to bend from the knees, not from your hips. So the main
Don't say
problem.
what the actual technique is, which is how you told me to do it.
What?
Moving on. Thanks for answering the question.
yeah.
Is it a good idea to have a missus while trying to make it, or do you wait? Is it a distraction?
Great question.
Yeah, this is a good question, man. I think depends on what you are like as a person and whether you're able to stick to your guns of doing what you need to do. right? And not being influenced away from, oh, I've got a missus, I want to see her, and that means I can't if you get an opportunity to go overseas or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
Because I think, like you said, both sides, if you have an opportunity and the girl holds you back and you don't go for that opportunity, then, you shoot yourself in the foot. And vice versa. You've got a really supportive girlfriend.
Yep.
You've got an opportunity. She supports you to go and do it.
Also, I think as well, if you are not in a relationship, you have the temptations to go a bit more free roaming.
I agree on that.
So at Arsenal, it's sort of a known thing that Arteta likes or really wants his players to be married or have a missus. So everyone in the Arsenal team, you'll see, is probably married or has a missus.
That's people that have, let's say, made it, though. Yeah. If you're on the journey, I still think having a girlfriend is having a partner is great. I think because it holds your temptations at bay a little bit and makes you live a more professional life, I think. Yeah. But like Gav's saying, I have seen it with my own eyes. There's plenty of players that they can't separate themselves from that partner if they need to go overseas or if there's things they need to do, and that's where it becomes.
That's one of the best questions we've had.
Bye, babe. I'm going to play 5th Division in Qatar.
But then there's other boys that I know that have done that, and it's like they're still together with their partner, but it's like that's difficult to do.
Yeah.
You better hope you make it.
Yeah, you got to choose the right woman.
Quickly, what are your thoughts on teams paying to get promoted in the state leagues? I think it's annoying,
what do you mean paying?
What does that mean? Paying for good players.
Yeah, paying for good players.
Well, that's what happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere,
in every league of the world.
Look at Man City.
Technically not. If you want to go on technicalities, it's technically not legal in state leagues.
Every team is paying in state league.
It's not legal. It's not legal what they're doing even in Premier League.
I'll tell you right now. Stop playing because sport is a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, it's not even real.
Lord Rash and Gav. Don't know why they didn't include me. What individual training? What training drills helped you with your touch?
Bro, this is so easy.
Wall ball.
Literally, bro. Like stand in front of the wall. I'll tell you right now. Stand in front of the wall. Start with the ball on the ground. 1 touch. Then do 2 touch. Then control it with your sole of the foot. Then start juggling it. Do 3 touch. Go to 2 touch. Go to 1 touch.
Yeah,
when you can do that against the wall,
do it as long as you're not my fucking neighbor because I don't want to hear ball going. Okay, if you're not my neighbor, go for it. I hate these weird questions. What do you think about doing a behind-the-scenes series on NPL State League clubs in Victoria? That'll probably be in the works. How to genuinely progress as a coach? Thank you for the love, man.
Keep it in it.
FFA state body courses don't actually seem to offer much. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a shot.
This is great. Another great question because, yes, most things are online, but I think there's a little bit of a gap in the market of coaching development. I saw a video online. Someone sent it to me. Our mate, Milan, shout out Milan, sent a video, I think it was in Croatia, of a coach coaching other coaches while doing a session, had a mouthpiece on so his voice was projected. And he was just telling them what they're doing and what he's looking for and why he's doing it and blah, blah, blah. And that's something that we get exposed to when we do licenses, C license, B license, that kind of thing. But you go there for a week, let's say. That's not that much. Like at the moment, I'm coaching every single day, 9 till 3, every single day. Like imagine you were getting coached by a coach for hours and hours and hours and hours a day.
Well, and that goes back to university, right? Experience over study. You can get someone that's extremely experienced without any of the study, and vice versa. You can be in university and never take a class before, and then they throw you in the deep end, get into the classroom, and you don't know how to control the kids.
That's true.
So it's weighing up, get your experience, but also get your knowledge.
Yep.
Would you rather be the best striker, midfielder, or defender in the world? Come on, man. It's got to be striker.
Best striker.
Or if it's a midfielder, it's like a 10.
Well, goal scorer.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. No one wants to be the best
It'll
defender.
be like Sergio Ramos. Like you defend but score. He's got more than 100 goals and 46 red cards.
Can we get Jerome doing a chicken and gravy review? Maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe. But I'm trying to watch my caloric intake, so it might have to be
on the dieta.
Hey, boys, top scorer in the Churches League here. Asked for a
What are you
salary.
laughing at?
No, what the next sentence? Asked for a salary and got exiled from the church. Should I find a State 5 team?
Committed the sin.
That's I mean,
That is God working for you. You committed the sin and he's putting you down to better leagues.
Hold on. Exiled is the funniest word.
Yeah.
Like, he obviously didn't get exiled. Excommunicated.
But I like that you've asked, man.
Bro,
Closed mouths don't get fed.
should
My
I-
favourite saying.
well, if you want to get paid, go to state leagues. State 5, though, getting money might be a bit tricky. You might have to move up the ranks a little bit more. But if you're a top scorer, then, yeah, man, show them a highlight video. What else we got here?
Can I just also just add in, because I have been getting a few DMs, people asking me to get them trials overseas and whatever. Amateur agents is really amateur agents, so I can't help anyone.
Yeah, there's been a few people that have actually reached out to me trying to get in touch with Rash because they can't because they haven't booked a meeting. But I've got nothing.
You have to book in online.
Yeah, and pay a fee. I can't help you. I love the messages and all that, but
I think from our perspective, we're just doing the pod. We are really busy. We're not trying to land deals.
Yeah, especially if I'm not getting a cut.
Unless it's for Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
What happened many moons? Let me start again. What happened many moons ago when Rashid played an indoor soccer game with older players and a fight broke out? Why did you throw hands at Oakley in sports?
It was there.
Oh,
Is that
I
it?
guess.
Is
No, it wasn't there.
How crazy is in sports? Spelt with the Z and it's got the nets.
That was sick.
But you know what it is? This is, if you play fives, if you play, kick around football, do you realise that you're allowed to pull shirts? Like, that's part of the game. Part of the
I
game
don't
is
know
being
about
physical and pull shirts and tussling. Yeah? You don't need to start fights over people pulling shirts. All
Well,
right?
I agree
It's part
with
of the
that.
game.
So
that's what happened,
So
basically.
you were pulling shirts all game, basically.
Yeah, I was playing like a normal footballer plays football, not a five-a-side footballer plays football.
But
right?
there are fouls in five-a-side, right?
No, yeah. You know what I'm saying, surely. In normal
Yeah, I do.
football,
I do.
It's like there's
Yeah,
tussling,
it's more
there's
physical.
pull, it's physical, right?
Yeah.
In five-a-side, for some reason, you go like this to someone, they're like, piss off, man. Don't touch me.
I love
So then what
And it's
happened?
like, what the hell?
love it.
And so
Because-
anyway, so that was, I was playing, whatever, I took the ball off this guy, that reaction, I got that reaction from him, piss off, man, get off me. Anyways, we go score, and he gets the ball again, I do it again.
And then you went.
And then, and then he turned around and just grabbed me, and then it was all on.
How long ago was this?
This was, it was
Were you
on
contracted
holidays.
a victory?
I was contracted in Independiente at the time.
See?
And I was back on holidays for Christmas.
There you go, for
And
you.
then full on brawl at Oakley in Sports, and then we got kicked out of there and couldn't play there for.
Who was
a
in
few
your
months.
team? Do we know anyone?
I think my brother was playing at the time. No, in that team, it was just the lads.
Just
man.
the boys.
It was just the
I
boys.
remember, I'll never forget when I was in primary school with Anthony Carter. We used to play at Springvale in sports.
Springers.
Oh, yeah.
Not
And-
Springers, yeah, Springers.
Oh, how old we would have been? I don't know, 12, 13. And obviously we would just take the piss.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Carter once smashed this one and broke the kid's arm
Oh my.
on a shot
What?
as he
A
was
shot? How
You
can
do-
you break
you do-
your arm off a shot?
You do
Yeah.
know you and Carter were like probably the most hated pairing, like just pricks. Like these guys are so good and they're cocky. Like absolute
Have you ever had
pricks.
any incidents at soccer fives?
brother.
Not like
Bro,
that,
this
but like
every
injuries.
week. Think about his
know what I mean?
personality, bro. He would be having incidents every week.
No, but I don't like. I will wind you up so bad and then laugh at you. One of my friends
he'd be
has
so annoying.
One of my
man.
friends has swung on me. Shout out Sadal. Like seriously, and then another one because of fives hasn't spoken to me in about 5 months.
I remember when I was at Dandy City, we used to train Monday nights, and then I'd go straight away and go play futsal at 9 p.m. in Ferntree Gully.
Oh, actually, sorry. I should finish that story because I know who's asking the question. The end of that story is basically a scuffle starts happening, and everyone's pulling, fighting. There's some fifths going, and my mate Matt, shout out Matt, was on the outside of the nets, just watching, a spectator, and as this fight starts, all of a sudden I hear someone just go, "Who the fuck are you?" And Matt's inside the net grabbing people like this. So that's the end of that story.
I've never punched on at football, but like I can be. My rule is if you don't say anything to me, that's it. But if you say the slightest thing, like next one, I will go ultra personal, and then it just gets weird. But I love fives. It literally is the highlight of my week. All right, here's a serious one. Played football under 5s to under 18s, but stepped away due to mental health, increased work hours, and free weekends. 8 years later, and age 26, futsal isn't scratching the itch. Depression is making it difficult to overcome the hurdle of returning, and the idea of starting over is daunting. Any advice?
Shit, this is the most serious question we've ever got.
Yeah, good question.
Rashid, I'm not going to say nothing.
I low-key have a feeling who I might know who this could be. I'm not going to speculate, though. I would say from someone that's ultra anxious like myself, and I wanted to scratch the itch, the perfect thing for me was five-a-side because it's competitive, but it doesn't really matter what happens at the end of the day. But when I played club football, one of the reasons I stopped was because no matter the level, it could have been the lowest Metro 7 or whatever. No matter the level, before games, I'd get super anxious. And I'm like, I'm not even enjoying this. Even though I know we're probably going to win 5-0, like, I'm anxious. And it's like, I'm actually not enjoying this. So maybe 11-a-side isn't for me. Even when I was younger, just overthinking everything. As a 29-year-old now, the way I scratch the itch is to play 5-a-side. And that could be multiple times a week. It's actually 7-a-side in a cage. So you sort of get that, you can hit a long ball or whatever, but that's what works for me. And my advice would be to maybe, if futsal's not scratching the itch, get back out on the grass, but maybe small-sided, and then see how you go from there. Or
come to the foot volley.
Come to foot volley. That's obviously a good community to be a part of. And if depression is making it hard to return, maybe start with a club that maybe trains once a week and plays, on a Sunday or whatever. It doesn't have to be super serious straight from the beginning. What do you reckon?
Sorry, can you read the question again? I just don't want to say them.
So basically, played football all of his junior life, stepped away due to mental health and work and having his weekends off. He's 26 now and he plays futsal. It's not scratching the itch. Depression is making it hard for him to overcome the hurdle of returning. What's any advice? So he's playing futsal, but it's not enough. He wants something else, but it's hard because of the depression.
Yeah. I guess I'm wondering, what is it about the depression that's making it?
Yeah, is it football related?
Yeah.
Is it personal?
Because you said you didn't want to play outdoor because it made you super anxious.
Yeah.
I guess I think, especially as what do we call ourselves? Middle-aged? No. What do we call ourselves? 30, 29.
Developed, frontal lobe developed?
Frontal lobe, especially as a
Jesus
frontal
Christ.
lobe developed individual.
Yeah.
I think you need to be putting yourself into challenging situations, not on the Joe Rogan, all this
Don't shit yourself
cliche
while
stuff.
running.
But genuinely, you have to be feeling like you're on a path to improve, to do something. And a little bit of transparency, I would say, I don't like to put labels on stuff, but I would say in hindsight, I went through a bit of depression through my career spell of football while I was over there. And I think the biggest thing for me was that I didn't feel like I was making progress towards something. And once I wasn't doing that, it felt like, anxiety kicks in because you're just stuck in this position, this one position. You're not looking forward to anything and you're not challenged by anything. You're just sort of, this is what day-to-day life is. And I think for me personally, a lot of my, let's say, depression or mental health issue was just around am I challenging myself towards doing something? Am I on a path to get somewhere? So like he's saying, whether it's 5-a-side and you're maybe paying attention to how much can I improve just as an individual player or whatever that journey is, but put yourself on some kind of a journey towards
he,
improvement.
He said starting over is daunting. And I think a bit of advice I would have is physically, do not just go play football, 11 aside. Do not do it. If you're not in good shape, slowly get back to running, jogging, moving with the ball and all that, because you'll actually hate it if you go straight back into football and an injury happens straight away or whatever, and then you'll be like, no, I never should have fucking played. Make sure you're physically ready as well.
And that's the journey aspect. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're putting yourself on this journey back too.
Yeah, and they say movement kills depression. And I believe that's so true, you know? Even though how cliche it is, if you're not doing anything and you're constantly, you know, at rock bottom, you got to get out there. So if futsal's not doing it, of course, you are doing that sort of movement, add something in, try something new, you know? It could be a workplace that's making you depressed, all types of things, you know, your relationships. Try and put yourself out there, put yourself into new situations.
Place some very specific, what do they call it? Specific, realistic, measurable, smart goals, attainable.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I think goals
and
in
thank
front
you
of
for
yourself
reaching
and
out.
work towards that, whatever that is for you, whatever that goal is for you.
If you're already playing futsal, you are willing to be active.
Yeah.
So that's the first step. And then I think if you do actually want to get back to 11 aside, then just make it an enjoyable experience. So maybe be cautious of what club you play for, what league it's in. Do you have friends there? What's the coach like? What's the training like? Is it super serious? Is it super chill? Do what you want. There's enough clubs and leagues out there to fit every type of player.
100%.
Right? Whether you want to be super serious or you literally want to play against fat 50-year-olds. Anything you want is out there. So keep going, brother. And we hope you make it on your journey. I think that's it.
Is it?
I think that's it. Yeah, we're nearly at 2 hours, I'm assuming. And just want to thank you guys. I want to remind you again, if you felt a little bit lazy at the start of the show, then maybe a little bit perked up now. So hit that 5-star on Spotify. Hit that follow on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. I know most of you Dons and Donettes follow us on Instagram. Yes.
And I just want to also, before we go, little plug, the Victorian Premier League Legends match, the second annual match ran by Stephen Topalovic, will be on the 14th of September 2024. We will be there. We'll have a presence there. I don't think I'll actually be playing because my heel is not great. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. But that's at Frank Houlihan Reserve.
Frank Houlihan.
Dandy
Frank
City.
Houlihan.
Yep.
Oh, it's Dandy City's ground.
Yeah.
Frank Houlihan Reserve, 2 Baden Powell Drive, Endeavour Hills.
I can walk there.
3 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday. Again, we will be there. It's proudly supporting Very Special Kids, a foundation that Stephen Topalovic has been supporting over the last few years, and this is the second annual event to support that charity. All the proceeds will go to that charity to help some very special kids that have some terminal illnesses and are facing a lot of challenges. So great cause. Will be a great day, and we will be there with a presence, and we'd love to see you come down there.
And
us,
one
high
of
five.
our members may be in the game.
Yes. I think he is. He's at the moment probably training for it. Jake Barkadash. Jake will be playing. Yeah, so we'll see you down there 14th of September 2024, 3 p.m. kickoff.
Yes, can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome.
What's the date?
14th of September.
Perfect.
How do you know what you've got on the 14th of September? I don't even know what fucking day it is.
No, I might go to Thailand on the 21st.
You just went.
This guy, man. You better call in during the pod. You got to work, man.
Yep. All right. That's it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We've got a very big guest. I know I say that every week, but it's true. We've got a very big guest lined up within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be another great insight for you guys. And just keep pushing, man. We're just some boys from the areas. You know what I mean? We just started this, no help, no nothing. And we love it that we're making organic growth out there. So love to everyone supporting, man. Suited and booted, we out. Peace.